Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We hope it is good. And welcome to Geeks Who Like Sports, episode 11 of season 2. As always, I am Ray Carcillo in beautiful Los Angeles, California, in my Christmas sweater, joined by Lee Elias, of course, my best friend in the entire world over in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Lee, how are you doing today?
It is our second Messier episode ever, Ray, and you are looking dapper in your light blue Star Wars holiday sweater. Some people might call that an ugly sweater, Ray. I don't. It's just a beautiful Star Wars sweater to me. I like it. It's excellent. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, buddy. We were back. If you listened last week, I was sick. I am not sick anymore. I am very excited to talk about football, hot stove, basketball, the Game Awards, and some fun stuff today. I just looked at our rundown. That's why I know what we're talking about.
Yes, we got a big episode for you. Not many topics, but each one I'm going to have a real deep dive because there's a lot to talk about within everything. But yeah, I'm wearing a holiday sweater because I have another holiday party today. I have basically this is like 5 days in a row of partying. So I'm not sick yet, but we'll see if that happens because I'm sure getting run down.
I can't even use like, oh, I was partying as an excuse. There wasn't anything like that. It was just someone came over sick and then I was sick.
There you go. That's all it takes.
Happy 40th birthday, Lee.
It just takes one. It just takes one.
Well, I listen, my wife was sick too. And the only nice part about being sick was that we were sick, but at least I get to spend a few days with my wife in bed, coughing and feeling pain. So it's much like having children and being married normally, but we were together.
There you go. Misery loves company. There you go. So
it's just misery had company. That's what it was.
That's what it is. There you go. Exact. Yes. See that. Wait, I didn't have company this weekend. I didn't have company.
Sure you did.
No, that's true. Actually, this week, like I said, I went to a bunch of parties.
You just said you were
so misery. Yes, I am misery incarnate in my Christmas sweater.
Well, now that we're off to a popping positive start to this episode, we hope you stay with us for the next hour as we discuss sports and geekdom.
Yes. No, we do have a big show for you, folks. Like Lee said, we're gonna go deep dive into the Game Awards, bunch of announcements, and a bit of controversy as well. And we also got some controversy in football. We've got, like Lee said, we got tons of stuff. Yankees, Dodgers have been very active the last few days for baseball.
Surprise. The Yankees and the Dodgers on the hot stove. Oh, yes. Must be a year that ends in a number.
Yeah. Exactly. We have our first in-season tournament winner in the NBA, but we're going to kick things off with the NFL. Another, of course, big week of football. A lot of big games, a lot of upsets this week, a lot of surprises. The playoff picture has gotten tighter and tighter, but we kick things off with, of course, the Sunday night primetime game. We're recording on a Monday, so we have not the Monday Night Football results yet, but there's not as much on the line there.
Nobody cares about the Giants playing tonight. I'm not going to lie to you.
No, it's true. The Giants and Packers, when the Packers win, it will just add them more to the mess of the NFC. And when the Dolphins win tonight over the Titans, the Dolphins will add themselves to the mess at the top of the AFC. We will discuss that. But Lee, first we need to talk about things are becoming a bit more messy in the top-heavy NFC as the Cowboys knock off the Eagles in really dominant fashion.
They did. They got dominated.
For the second week in a row now, two other major contenders.
I know we should panic, Ray. We should panic. Everyone in Philadelphia should panic now that we're 10-3 because that is a number that we should panic at 10-3. Listen, everybody, listen to me. I know what's on the line. I understand the division is on the line. I understand lots of things. Everyone needs to relax. Okay, First off. And look, you can go back 4 episodes again. I said that if we came out of these 5-6 games 500, I'm happy. And I think we came out of these 3-2. So I'm happy. We have a very, very favorable schedule as the Eagles the rest of the way. This division is very much ours to lose. And should they lose it, they will still be in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm seeing ridiculous articles today, like Nick Sirianni doesn't have any answers and doesn't know what he's doing. We just played the Niners and the Cowboys, who are two great teams that were gunning for us. Did we respond well? No. But is this why you play a full season? Yes. Okay. If anything, and I'm going to say this right now, I hope I can replay this audio in February. This is exactly the wake-up call the Eagles needed to wake themselves up. I've been saying it since the start of this show. We have not put together a full game yet this season. Now we have a reason to. Don't poke the bear. I hope this pisses the Eagles off to the way that they start going dominant again. Philadelphia, relax.
Yeah.
We're 10-3. That is still the best record in football, albeit tied with other teams now.
Yeah.
Relax. Let the season play out. Stop seeing 2 inches in front of your face and realize it is the culmination of an 18-game season, and we have things to fix, which is good that we know that now. Because when we come up against these teams in the playoffs, we will be better prepared. Are we going to win? Can't tell you that. How many teams win, Ray, of the 32?
1.
It's hard to do. And it might not be the Niners or the Cowboys or the Eagles that are that team. So relax and enjoy your football and let people make fun of us. By the way, I think it's hilarious when people make fun of the Eagles because I can be the fan who knows we have one of the best records in football and people are making fun of us because we're so damn good, Ray. I love it. Did the Eagles play like shit the last 2 weeks? Yep. And it's okay. That's what I'm telling you. Now, listen, they drop the next game or the next 2 games. That's different. That's when we have to have a conversation.
Yeah, if you lose to Seattle and then the Giants, like here's the thing. If you lose either of the 2 games to the Giants, then you might have an issue.
It's a problem for sure.
Yeah.
All right. It means we're conceited. And I just don't think that Jalen Hurts is the type of guy who's going to stop playing. I think our receivers have had a horrible couple weeks.
Yes.
I think our defense, I can't praise the defense with the score lines, but they've done some good things in these games. Guys, it's a midseason lull. It happens.
It's also hard when it happens to the Giants a lot in a lot of games. When your defense is out there for 40 minutes on the field, your defense is going to get tired and going to give up some more big plays later in the game, right? Yeah. Like you guys made some good strides from week to week. You guys had the scoop and score, but when your offense puts up 6 points against that Dallas defense, you can't fully blame the your defense either.
And their kicker is a visionary. Like, let's just be honest. I think
the dude,
amazing amount. You take him out of the game, the score, we'd still lose. Don't get me wrong, but the game is totally different.
Absolutely.
So, and God bless that guy. Look, I was watching him. I wasn't getting upset. I was like, this is amazing. I towards the end of the game, not the beginning of the game, I was like, I hope he makes it. Why would you want that streak to break? You can not call me a real Eagles fan for that, but like, I'm happy for the guy. I mean, he's doing. It's an amazing story. I'm just saying. I take a little bit more of a macro look at these things. The last 5 games, we've beaten Kansas City. We've beaten some very, very, very good teams. Yeah. Okay. And some very good teams beat us. Football. Yeah. Again.
Any given Sunday.
It is the Eagles' division to lose still. We have the easiest schedule. I'm sorry. We have the most favorable schedule the rest of the way. All right. Everyone relax. I'm just not panicked, Ray. I don't know what to say. Like I said, they're 10-3. I mean, my God. If you told any Eagles fan in week 14, we would be 10-3. Everyone would say that's fine. Everyone would say that they're fine with that. They wouldn't care how you got there. They wouldn't say anything. But again, it's 2 inches in front of your face view. Like Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts are just going to sit around like, well, that's it. Good run. Thanks, everybody. Well, that's it for this season. It's like, what are you doing, guys?
Yeah, what have you done for me lately? And to your point, honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. The Eagles could lose out and still make the playoffs.
If they did lose out, they would still make the playoffs. Just statistically speaking, there's almost no way they won't make the playoffs at this point.
Right, exactly. I think it's a 99% chance.
Well, I think we're waiting. So. If I can't remember who, but like if one team loses right now, we're in. Like it's so everybody. I'm telling you as a coach, it's all about hitting stride at the right time. And it's all about taking your licks at the right time. If we were going to take licks, this is exactly what I'd want to do it. Sometime within the now and 5 weeks is when you needed to take these 2 losses in a row. So you can learn and get better. And you get a
and now make you fight and make your final push.
Right. I'm telling you, like, again, I'm not guaranteeing Super Bowl or anything like that. You can't do that for any team. But I've just seen this play out so many times. I'm going to say it one more time, Ray. Should they lose the next game? Or the next 2 games, I'm going to be a little concerned as a fan for sure.
Right.
All right. But I understand the visceral hatred Philadelphia has for the Cowboys. I really do. I grew up.
Oh, for sure. We all hate Dallas. Yeah, everybody hates Dallas.
Everybody hates Dallas. But I refuse to allow a loss to Dallas dictate my feelings for the entire season. Like that's giving Dallas too much credit. Dallas is a good team. All right. Dallas is a good team.
Dallas is a good team. I'm still not ready to anoint Dak as the MVP, as some folks out there are, but
not until the end of the season. That's a stupid conversation.
Yes, no, I agree. But and the Eagles control their own fate for the division. If the Eagles win out, which I'll say this also, I mean, look, it's going to take it's. I can't believe we're saying it's going to take 14 wins to get the top seed in the NFC, basically awesome. Almost no matter what.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It used to be in previous years where 14 wins, you'd be running away with the number 1 seed. Right. This year, we talked about this earlier. Obviously, the NFC is very top heavy. The Niners, Eagles, and Cowboys are all going to be looking at possibly a 14
it's interesting now, right? Like, let's just say it's an interesting division suddenly, which it wasn't for most of the season.
Yeah. And to be fair, if the Lions didn't lay an egg against the Bears, which again, any given Sunday, especially against a divisional opponent, the Lions could have 10 wins right now. And then it would be really interesting because you'd have 4 teams looking at 10 wins, and then you'd have the 6 and 7 Bucks who are going to get a home game. But anyway, that's the way it works sometimes with these divisions. But
listen, it's an interesting end of the season as a football fan, not an Eagles fan. That's awesome. I'm excited about this. As an Eagles fan, I'm just not ready to panic yet.
Sure.
All right. Yes. Again, if they don't wake up, sure. But I just have a feeling knowing the leadership of this squad, they're not going quietly into the night here. They're going to figure it out.
And again, Dallas and San Francisco have much harder schedules down the stretch.
And I will say this too. Again, the NFC is extremely top heavy, but there are several teams that could come out of this division. Out of this conference to go to the Super Bowl.
The last thing
we didn't say that a month ago, but now
the last thing anybody wants to see is a red hot Green Bay Packer team, right? Jordan Love starting to put it. Now I don't think the Packers are going to do well, but I could see the Packers, depending on who they play. Like if the Packers play the Lions in the first round of the playoffs, you telling me you can't see the Lions laying a stinker in that first round and the Packers pulling off the upset?
You never know. You get hot at the right time. You never know what's going to happen. Look at the Arizona Diamondbacks. Right? You just never know what's going to happen. There's plenty of football teams that I could make an example of with that too.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like the New York Giants.
I don't think if we are not winning 7 in a row.
I'm talking about teams that kind of came out of nowhere to win Super Bowls
in the past.
You did it 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah, well, twice.
3 times.
No,
okay. To go to the Super Bowl. How about that?
To go to the Super Bowl. Yes. Yes. Super Bowl. Yes. When we went to get and got our butts kicked by the Ravens, we came out of nowhere that year too.
I was thinking about that one.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, we lost that one, but we did come out of nowhere and then we destroyed the Vikings.
Was that 03?
That was 2000.
No way, was it?
Yeah, that was Super Bowl 35.
Wow, we're old.
Yep. Anyway, so Eagles, Cowboys. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other really interesting and great games around the league.
But we're not going to talk about them because who cares? No, I'm just kidding. Go
ahead. The Cleveland Browns, led by Joe Flacco, who they pulled off. He was in semi-retirement. Joe Flacco comes back, wins a huge game against the Jaguars. Cleveland now has a stranglehold.
Can you imagine that feeling? Like, just be like, yeah, you want to play again? Yeah. It's like an adult league. Come on, play football again.
He's 38. He's my age, but
youngin.
But he said, you know what? Though it's the most animated I think I've ever seen Joe Flacco. He's like, you know what? He's like, I feel like a kid again. He's like, this is a good team. This is a great situation for me. I'm just really happy that I was to come in. He threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns against a good Jacksonville team. Right, Jacksonville's 8-5 now. Jacksonville leading their division. Jacksonville a very good defense, and Joe Flacco carved them up. And look out for Cleveland, who has still the best defense in the NFL in terms of a lot of statistics. It's them and Dallas, I think 1-2 going back and forth in a lot of categories. Like, look out for Cleveland because again, defense wins championships, and you never know. Like, if they have to go to, could Cleveland go to Kansas City in the first round and knock off the Chiefs? I mean, the way the Chiefs are playing this year, yes, right? Like, or go back to Jacksonville and do that again? Absolutely. Look out for Cleveland, who right now has a stranglehold on the 5 seed, while meanwhile 7 teams are tied for the last 2 seeds in the AFC. Lee, this has to clear itself up. I'm not even going to ask for a prediction at this point with 4 weeks to go. But how unbelievable is it that it's almost half the AFC is tied at 7-6 and fighting for the 6 and 7 seeds now.
Well, that's how a conference is supposed to look, right?
Right. Not like our conference.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, everyone would always say that, look, you want your team to run away with it. You want to know. But at the end of the day, as a sports fan, as just a football fan, I'm looking at it now, like not knowing. The more games that matter, the better.
Yeah.
Right. I think you'd even agree with that. The more games that
Absolutely.
matter, the better, even if it's not necessarily your team. And like I said,
Mhm.
we're saying over here, like, oh, the Eagles and Cowboys and Niners all being tied up. That's exciting. Well, you're looking at the AFC. I mean, my God, there's 11 teams that are just right in it. And really, when you think about it, there's several teams that are 5-8 that you say they get super hot. Suddenly
They're
they're in
only
the
2 games
conversation.
back.
Right.
They're only
I
two
mean,
games
you
back.
never know. Right.
Yeah.
But the fact that the Bills are in 11th place in that
Yeah.
conference, I mean, and I'm not saying that like, oh, the Bills are bad. They're
No, they're
very,
7-6.
very good.
It's just everybody happens to be 7-6.
Yeah. So like that's exactly the way you want this to be running into this part of the season.
Yeah.
You know, it's also nice to not see Kansas City or for that matter, New England. I know that's a different world, but
Yeah.
not being there.
No,
but
right now,
we'll see what
Baltimore is
happens.
the 1 seed, but if Miami wins tonight against Tennessee, Miami moves into the 1
Well,
seed for the
And
time being.
this is what I love to see. I'm on ESPN right now, and I always like to go to that tiebreaker bar because football tiebreaker is amazing. Listen to the Pittsburgh Steelers tiebreaker description now. You ready for this? I'll try and do it in one breath. Wins tie break over Indianapolis based on best win percentage in common games. Win tie break over Buffalo and Denver based on best win percentage in conference games. Division tie break was initially used to eliminate Cincinnati. Pittsburgh wins tie over Cincinnati based on head-to-head win percentage. The tie break was initially used to eliminate Houston. Indianapolis wins tie break over Houston based on head-to-head win percentage.
Yeah.
That's where we're at in the AFC right now. And I'm looking at the other tiebreakers, right? They're not much shorter than that.
No, I mean, and that's really where we're at. And it's going to be interesting because you're going to have a lot of divisional matchups now coming down the stretch.
Who's going to be the jerk that ties, Ray, and ruins it for everybody?
That'll be really what screws it up. We almost had a tie
We
almost had a scoreless tie yesterday.
Yes, we did.
The Vikings hold on to the 6th seed, but with a 3-0 win over the Raiders. Holy cow, was that a disgusting game where the backup for the backup had to come in for them to win it.
Oh, man.
But this is also showing, like, again, we're having a lot of injuries. A lot of teams are coming in with backups. Cleveland is down to their 3rd quarterback with Flacco, we mentioned. Pittsburgh is down to Mitch Trubisky because of Kenny Pickett getting hurt. They've lost 2 in a row, including losing a big game to New England on Thursday night. That was a huge upset. Cincinnati, Jake Browning, Burrow out for the year. You think the Bengals are done. Jake Browning's like, hey, guys, you don't know who I am, but I'm going to go 2-1 now. And suddenly the Bengals, after knocking off the Colts, are right back in it. The Colts are down to Gardner Minshew. The Texans are back down to Davis Mills because C.J. Stroud got concussed yesterday, and it did not look good. Hopefully he comes back quickly because he has had a phenomenal year. You never wish that on anybody, but I am particularly rooting for C.J. Stroud to come back. And then suddenly Russell Wilson can cook again. Russell Wilson remembered how to cook. The Broncos have won 6 of 7.
You have. I'll give you another scenario that's going to make some people groan. Should the Jets beat Miami, suddenly that division is very, very interesting because they finish with Washington, Cleveland, and New England, with Cleveland really being the only threat.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jets could, they won't. They could sneak in there. They could
the Jets would have to win out and finish 9-8.
Yeah, but they'd have to win the division most likely, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, because here's the thing: Miami's already 9-3.
Right.
So again, if Miami wins tonight, that eliminates the Jets from the division right off of the bat.
Automatically, yeah.
Right. So yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like it when it's interesting at this point of the season. That is my moral of the story. As a fan, as a coach, no, I want to win every game. As a fan, the more meaningful football you have in December and January, the better. All right. Yes. And what's nice, Ray, is the last week of the season, half the games most likely will matter.
Yes,
right?
in some form or another.
Yes, that's
for either seeding or actually making the playoffs.
Right.
Yes,
that's what you want. But maybe more than half when you had seeding in. I was just thinking about making it, but you're right.
No, well, that's the thing. Like, honestly, like the Eagles versus Giants might actually matter for you guys in terms of.
I would say it will. It most likely will matter for us.
Right.
Now, I will say this too. If it does matter, I expect us to really win that game.
Oh, I expect you to absolutely.
And the Giants will absolutely let us win that game.
Probably.
Yes.
Probably.
The foosball.
Yes.
You've been playing the foosball at school.
One last game I want to talk about. We mentioned the Bills and the Chiefs. The Chiefs still winning their division by a game over the Broncos, although if right now the Broncos would have the tiebreaker if they catch the Chiefs due to head-to-head. But Chiefs lost the heartbreaker. It allowed the Bills to get back into the race again. Bills now one of those 7-6 teams. But the Chiefs, a lot of complaining by Kermit the Frog and Andy Reid after the game, Patrick Mahomes, because of I don't know if Andy Reid didn't get his nuggies on the sideline, but a lot of complaining about, and I'll say this, look, if it had stood, it would go down as one of the best plays in NFL history. There's no doubt about it. Regular season plays anyway.
Sure.
And for those who don't know, to set the scene, the Bills were up 20-17. The Chiefs are driving. It's 3rd and 10 in Buffalo territory. I want to say the 42. Mahomes hits Kelsey over the middle for a post pattern. Kelsey's about to get tackled and comes up with the idea, because it doesn't look like it was that was the way they were drawn up. Kelsey looked to the side. It was just like, and he laterals it halfway across the field, a la the Music City Miracle. And I mentioned that R.I.P. Frank Wycheck, who passed away very suddenly and unexpectedly over this weekend at the age of 52. Of course, one of the orchestrators of that. Go back and watch that highlight if you get a chance. Very, very sad. Very, very sad. Fell at 52 and passed away. Sorry about that. That's a tangent. Anyway, one great tight end to another. Kelsey laterals to former New York Giant Kadarius Toney. And Toney walks into the end zone, wide open, nobody there. But the play comes back because there's a flag on the play. As soon as the play started, there was a flag. Toney, who has been really a thorn in his own team's side this entire season. He had 4 drops in week 1 in the loss to the Lions. He leads, I think he's one of the league leaders in drops, constantly penalized. The dude does not have many highlights this year, to say the least, and has been the poster boy for a terrible Kansas City Chiefs receiving core. I mean, it's Mahomes understanding. I don't believe he's mad at the refs as much as he is his frustrating starting to boil over to his own team, because I have not seen the Chiefs receiving core is the worst in football. They lead the league in drops. They lead the league in absolutely just blown plays over and over and over again. And Kadarius Toney lined up off sides. It's very rarely called, but it is obvious every replay.
It is obvious
that Kadarius Toney was lined up incorrectly, and the refs correctly threw the flag. Lee, as much as you hate to see this amazing play get absolutely obliterated by a dumb penalty, the refs made the right call.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else there is to say. I don't know why Chiefs fans are complaining. I don't know why people are complaining about this. A lot of folks are saying the refs should have swallowed the whistle. How? He was half a yard offside. This is on the player for being a bonehead. And honestly, I'm surprised the Chiefs haven't cut him yet. They must be that desperate, because honestly, if I were the Chiefs and I look at the whole season of what this kid has done, you're gone. Mm-hmm. You're gone. You're a bum. You're a bum. There's no other way to put it. Your upside ain't worth it. You're a bum. Get the hell out. That's what the Giants did. The Giants made a terrible mistake in drafting him, and then we're like, please give us anything for him. Give us anything. Please give us anything. We got a 3rd-round pick back.
No, they did get anything. They got something for him.
We got something. Yeah, thank goodness we got something. Not as much as we got for cost us in the first place. So he's a 1st-round pick. Tony's a bum. This is on the player. This isn't on the refs. The refs have made a lot of bad calls this year. I'm not absolving the refs.
No.
But in this case, he was offsides.
Well, I'll tell you this too, right? First off, the flag flew well before the play. The ball was out of Mahomes'
developed.
hands.
You didn't know it was going to be a legendary play.
Right. So, like, anybody who's talking about the script can kind of go screw themselves on that one. Yeah. The second thing is, I'm actually looking at it right now. He is clearly offsides. Then people going, oh, it's rarely called. Well, that's not true. It was rarely called in the past. One of the best pieces of analysis I saw was that they have actually really clamped down on this season. And when you look at it week to week, they have been calling this a lot more.
It has been called a dozen times or so this year. Yes.
Now, this is why I don't have a ton of sympathy. I understand the frustration as a player and as a coach of a big final play being overturned. I've been there in the moment. It's very hard. But I think that Mahomes and Reed kind of embarrassed themselves a little bit yesterday.
Yeah.
When you think about it, this is why I talk about people 2 inches from their face. I watched, Ray, you're going to sympathize with me here, I think. I watched my team not lose a regular season game, but the Super Bowl last year on a similar type of should have swallowed the whistle call.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl.
Yes.
And all of the
against
Eagles
these very
players
Chiefs.
against the same team. Yeah, and that's not why I don't have any sympathy.
Yeah.
But now that you mention it, that does feel kind of good. I remember how the Eagles responded, and it was not, we deserve this, we deserve that. It was like, no, it was a penalty, and he made a call, and that's the way the game ended. Chiefs, I'm sorry. You penalized, obviously, too. Like, I could make an argument that it wasn't a penalty against the Eagles. It was, but I could make an argument. There's no argument here. Guy's standing on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. And you know why it's not called that oftenly? Is because most receivers aren't that stupid to be in front of the ball.
It's a really great point, Ray. It's like, no, you need to be on your game at that point. If you're not looking, I don't know what to tell you. Where is he looking? Every replay, he's looking down at the ball.
I know.
I don't like, and again, I think Mahomes will come out and kind of make this right, knowing him. But I don't like you can't say, well, that's rarely called. That can't be your argument. That cannot be your argument. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I'm going to say it's unfortunate that a play that cool was there. If it's a dead ball, I've tossed it or incomplete pass, nobody would have said a thing. All right. In fact, they would have been thankful for the extra play.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, no, it's penalty. Handled poorly, in my opinion, by the team. But they're class acts. I think they'll make it right. I really do. I really do think I can see Mahomes coming out and saying, like, look, I was frustrated and refs do a great job, an okay job.
They'll walk it back.
Yeah, but
especially after they're fine.
As a coach, did they lose the game or not win the game on that play? No. You played 4 quarters. The Bills got you.
Yeah.
Simple.
And it is funny. The Bills, Josh Allen, for whatever reason, has Arrowhead and Mahomes' number.
Yeah.
He just plays better there. He's done this a few times now. But yeah, it's a 60-minute game.
Deal with it.
For whatever. Yeah. Here's an idea. Don't fall down 20-17 and need a fourth quarter miracle drive.
You didn't lose or not win because of one play. You lost because of the 60-minute culmination of the game.
Yep.
All right. And again, that's why you lost. And not to mention, look, Chiefs fans will argue this. He was offsides, right? I mean, doesn't that give him an advantage on that play? Well, it's only a couple inches. It's a game of inches.
Literally. Right? So you've literally got a first step on the corner. Yeah.
That's why that rule exists.
Yeah. You can't infract in the neutral. You can't be in the neutral zone. That's why it's called a neutral zone. Anyway, so for anybody who's saying that the ref should have swallowed their whistle, you're an idiot. For once, I'm not saying the ref should get hit by the bus. Maybe Kadarius Toney should get hit by the bus, but not the referees. Anyway, one time I'm going to stand by the refs.
We gotta make a theme song for that. Who's getting hit by the bus with Ray driving today?
No, don't worry. When we get to the game awards, we're going to have a lot of buses.
We're going to have a lot of buses.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I got a lot going on there. Last football story, though, of the day. This broke earlier today. Jon Gruden, of course, is suing the NFL and the NFL owners for being wrongfully terminated, or he feels wrongfully terminated.
He was wrongfully terminated.
Yes.
And again, you have to separate the reason of why he was terminated from the way that reason was presented. There are different things.
Yes. That no one is denying that Jon Gruden should not have used the language he used in those emails.
100% agree with you. Yes.
Right. But it's kind of weird how those emails got out. And it's kind of weird how it does kind of seem like, and basically Jon Gruden is saying it was a hit job. And so it is now going to the Nevada Supreme Court. Should they rule in Gruden's favor, we will then have discovery. Discovery means we'll be collecting of evidence. There'll be interviews. Probably Roger Goodell and the NFL owners will be subpoenaed, which will mean they will then have to go under oath to testify, which, as we've probably seen over the last decade, many years, really, we'll say, but especially the last decade, a lot of billionaires don't want to ever have to go under oath for anything.
No, yeah, there's reasons for that.
Yeah, so it will be interesting to see what happens here if the NFL, and Gruden has said he does not want to settle. Supposedly there was also, that's the other thing is that the owners tried to settle with him, and he said, oh no, I'm going to burn the place down.
Yeah, he doesn't
we
need
are
money.
Going to court. Yeah.
He
doesn't need the money.
He wants to change the game, and he knows it.
Yes. Gruden knows not only he can go down as one of the best coaches in NFL history, but as somebody who can change this game and really stick it to a bunch of billionaires. And for somebody who
this could
doesn't need
get
the
to
money,
the Supreme Court, man. If it keeps going, I mean, this could be.
That's the next
thing,
level
too.
after the state Supreme Court, right? Like, I mean, that would be the next level. So, or maybe a federal district court. I'm not sure. Legal parlance is not my specialty, but right now it is at the Nevada Supreme Court, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this is ruled. But I, for one, am pulling for Jon Gruden here because, to Lee's point, this could change a lot of things in a lot of places, and I think and who doesn't love it when billionaires get stuck with this stuff?
Yeah, I'm with you, right? Like, look, here's the deal. I think there's a higher thing here. You got to think beyond sports here a little bit, because there's going to be the inevitable Supreme Courts. I mean, it's just sports we're talking about. No, it's not. Like, we're talking about someone's right to privacy, and the fact that no one should ever be able to just take your private materials and share it with the world like that. It's a massive invasion on personal privacy. Going to reiterate what Ray said. Not saying I agree with anything that he said in those emails.
No.
All right. But I mean, it was a hit job. I mean, let me rephrase that. It looks like it was a hit job.
Right.
Right. And the fact it's gotten this far kind of tells me it was a hit job. And I bet you they offer him an ungodly amount of money. All right. But he wants to clear his name. All right.
Yes.
And I think he has every right to do that. And again, this goes beyond the football workplace to the larger workplaces around the country. So it'll be interesting to follow this. But I'm going to say this: bad on Gruden for saying what he said. Good on Gruden for, I mean, he's being a patriot in a lot of ways right now. Like, no pun intended. He's trying to do what's right. I mean, that's so rare nowadays. It's refreshing.
Yeah.
You want to play football, man? You want to play football with me, man? You're not going to. All right, man.
Yeah. And to be fair, I mean, this is also, and Gruden as a millionaire also does have the means to have a protracted legal battle, right? Like, a lot of folks, if they tried this, probably would take the settlement because you're going against somebody like the NFL, and it's.
I would not be surprised if they offered him $500 million. I really wouldn't. Wow. All right. It's just a matter of he doesn't need it.
Speaking of $500 million.
You see what
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised they offered him $700 million.
$700 million. Now, to be fair, if I was a general manager, we're gonna get into the hot stuff now, folks. We're gonna move into baseball. Of course, the big news is that Shohei Ohtani is a Los Angeles Dodger,
as predicted by sane people.
$700 million. Although they are talking about some of it is deferred. We'll get $500 million over the first 10 years, and then $200 million over another 10 years.
The real winner in this contract is the state of California.
Ooh, all them taxes.
He will
that'll be tied up in red tape, and we'll do nothing with.
Are you ready for this? Yeah. He will pay more in taxes than he will make.
Yeah.
He will be paying more in taxes than he will make.
Yes.
That's insane. But also good, but bad at the same time.
The thing
is, if I had any confidence in the California structure of spending that money wisely,
that's the thing.
I would be like, oh, wow, yeah, this is the way it should be. But I have no confidence in them. It's going to go in somebody else's pocket.
That's the problem. I believe in the idea that somebody who is paid that much should pay their fair share in taxes, right? Like, but the problem is that the California state government is full of morons, and that it will be nothing tied up in tape that is redder than my pen cap or the Geeks Who Like Sports sign behind me. It is. Yeah, I'm not going to get started in the politics, but yes, there's a bunch of morons in Sacramento on both sides of the aisle, and nothing ever gets done in this state. And all they do is have this money it's just sitting there. Sitting there.
So he's really just going to bank $350 million, actually a little less.
Yeah, it's going to be like 340 something or whatever.
State of California won. Way to go, California. You still won, even though he didn't leave the state, so you still won.
Right.
Anyway, massive deal, biggest contract in sports history.
Yes.
$70 million a year. He makes $2 a second right now. I'm not kidding. Well, I mean, he makes $1. California makes $1 every second he's breathing. That's how you have to look at it.
Unbelievable.
It is insane.
It is unbelievable.
But I'll also say this: if he's, I'm not saying that we should be paying athletes that much money, but he deserves that contract based on the salaries in baseball today. He is the greatest player in the game. He is a visionary. He is changing the way the game is played in terms of what he's been doing.
Yes.
So yeah, it justifies this contract, and of course the Dodgers gave it to him.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the thing is that I think that I am sure people were talking about Toronto. I said it last week. I think Toronto is just there to help drive the price up. Right. I think San Francisco is there to just help to drive the price up.
We got to talk just real quick about the incredibly irresponsible reporting once again of the sports.
Oh my goodness! To say that he was on a flight, this is arson judge all over again.
He had to apologize. The reporter had to apologize.
Jon Morosi.
Yeah, it's like I'm so tired of irresponsible reporting. With this, what they did to Connor Bedard in Chicago with the Blackhawks and Corey Perry with his mother. I mean, it's just man, journalists are desperate, and it is disgusting. It is disgusting.
Yeah,
what level these journalists are going to. Blatant lies in a scoop era where people want the lie, so they'll spread it like wildfire. Ray and I were talking about this last week about the Toronto. I'm sorry. We were texting, and this report was coming out, and I texted Ray. There's no way that he is on his way to Toronto, looking at Toronto.
No,
wants to play. There's nothing there that he is even going to consider. There are like 3 teams he's looking at.
Right? Yeah, they're all in California.
Yeah, and baseball is not allowing him to go to Canada to play baseball. So I just, and this is logic taking over there, right? So
that's the thing. If he was going to go east, he was going to go to New York or Boston.
It's absolutely 100% correct. Yes.
He's not. I'm sorry, Toronto. I know you're like, we're the only team in Canada. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're a small market or medium market team. You're not LA. You're not New York.
You're better than the Angels, but you're not not that far.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a market value.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There is. That's why also they said it, he was going to go to the Midwest. He was going to go to Chicago.
I'm going to say it again. Baseball needs their best player to be on a place where he needs a big market. Yeah. That's just how it is. And the Angels had their chance, failed miserably. I'm going to say it again. The Angels losing records every season. They had another one of the greatest players in baseball. That's an organizational problem. One of the best tweets I saw was really not going to miss Shohei Ohtani does this amazing feat that hasn't been done in 90 years. Yes. Angels lose 9-3.
Yes, no, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. I love it. It's like, it's the death of the greatest meme tweets ever for baseball, where it's like Mike Trout hits 3 more home runs to bring his total to 107. And Shohei Ohtani does something that hasn't been done since Tungsten Arm O'Dougall in 1888. And the Angels lose 9-3. Yeah. It's like, the Angels have to trade Trout now, by the way, because that organization needs to be blown up from top to bottom. I don't care what Ron Washington, the new manager, says, that you're here to compete. You're here to compete. You have nobody to compete with. You need to start over. Maybe in a couple of years you can compete, get some draft picks, get some prospects, and start over. The Angel franchise, the worst thing they could have done was their owner last year changing his mind and him deciding not to sell that team. Right. Moreno is a moron. It's that simple. So, meanwhile, they weren't the only major team working to on the hot stove. I just want to double check. Yes, it's already Moreno.
Oh, wait. I wonder what other team in Major League Baseball could have done anything big on the hot stove that's as big as the Dodgers. Let me think. Could it be the Padres? No.
Technically it was. Technically the Padres did.
Nope. It wasn't the Padres. Nobody's looking at that like it's the Padres. Look at Ray looking like a 1950s Yankee fan right now. Ray, tell me about Soto coming to the Yanks.
So I'm also not going to lie. I think the Yankees gave up a lot for Juan Soto.
That was your concern last week. You were kind of shady. I'll say shady in the shade with this deal.
I still think we gave up a bit too much for him, because the Yankees basically gave up all their most major league ready pitchers, and plus a possible future ace in Michael King, who absolutely dominated towards the end of last year. And now the Yankees have no pitching depth, but they get a guy who can patrol left field every day, who is a left-handed power hitter, who is in his mid-20s. Now, mind you, the Yankees only have him for 1 year. They have to lock him. The Yankees have to give him like a lifetime contract now to make this trade worth it, right? But Juan Soto now brings depth to the lineup that we haven't had. He's a left-handed hitter. They also got Trent Grisham, another a backup outfielder for this, which gives us good depth for late game defense. Former Gold Glover, another left-handed hitter. Here's the thing: if the Yankees get Yamamoto, who they're talking to as we speak now, as we're recording this, the most highly touted free agent pitcher coming out of Japan. He's basically said it's down to the Yankees and the Mets, right? That this guy's going to choose between the Yankees and the Mets. The only thing that makes me worry is if Hal, for whatever reason, decides to lowball him. But if the Yankees are the Yankees and they get Yamamoto and they have Soto, I do not think it is hyperbole. Because remember, I said it last year. I didn't think the Yankees were a World Series contender. I said it the year prior. I didn't think we were a World Series contender. But with Soto, if everybody stays healthy with Soto, and if we get Yamamoto to sit behind Cole as the number 2 pitcher, the Yankees are World Series contenders again. And honestly, it should be on paper right now. It should be Yankees Dodgers. Should be. Not saying it will be, but it should be.
I don't know, Ray. There's some other teams in play here that I think
I would be happy to beat the Phillies again.
It's not just the Phillies, right? The Phillies are absolutely there, but
no. I mean, here's the thing: the National League is a lot better balanced, much like AFC, NFC. The National League is much better balanced than the American League.
I would not count out the Phillies right now. I would not count out anybody.
The Phillies, the Braves,
right?
Obviously the Dodgers, right? Like I get
there's
that.
several teams there. Now, yes, in terms of what would the MLB want, for sure, Yankees,
absolutely
versus Dodgers. I'm going to say this still. The Yankees have a culture problem right now. I don't care who you bring in.
That's also true.
If they don't solve that, this is just a key to what you want happening to happen, is they have to figure out this culture problem that they're having.
Yeah.
All right. You had a great lineup last year. Maybe it wasn't World Series bound, but you didn't have a horrible lineup. You have the former best player in the league still in the lineup.
Well, the problem was it showed we had our lack of depth. Once Judge got hurt, the team fell apart.
Totally agree. So you're a better team than you were. It's a little bit of evil empire tactics that I remember when I was younger. But did you sell too much? Is your culture's fit? If your culture's not fit, you'll never be the Mets. I'm not trying to compare you to the Mets, but I am saying this is what's wrong with the Mets, is they are not fixing their culture.
Yes.
And they're not winning.
Yeah.
All right. So Yankees got to fix that.
No, they do. They do. And I do wonder. I mean, look, I think.
Wait, let me say, this is a step in the right direction, too.
Absolutely.
I don't want you to think I'm poo-pooing on the Yankees.
No, it is a step in the right direction. To me, the Yankees still need to do a few things, to your point. I think we need to get rid of Giancarlo Stanton somehow, some way, especially now that our general manager basically says that he has no faith in him. It's a great way to really pump up your players, by the way, to go to the media and say, yeah, I'm already trying to plan for not having him for half the season because the guy's made of glass. It's really bad when your general manager does that. Right. Like, even if it's true, you don't tell the media that.
Why not?
And again, this goes back to the fact that it goes back to the fact, and again, to your point that we also gave up too much, Brian Cashman sucks.
Yeah.
We need a new general manager and we need a new manager. I'm sorry. You want to fix the culture? That's how you do it real fast. You have a couple of asshats right now in charge of the Yankees under Hal, and Hal doesn't really know what he's doing because he's just a pencil pusher. Sorry.
True. No, listen, I'm going to reiterate what I just said. Culture. You have not done anything on that front.
Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone have permanent places in front of the bus.
Now, you know what team in the NL that does have culture?
Yeah, I know the Phillies.
Yeah, another team who now has a lot of culture?
The Braves.
And another team, I mean, you can keep naming them, Ray. That's just what I'm trying to say. The Dodgers, absolutely now.
Yeah.
As a Dodger player, we're going for it now. Like, you just you brought us the best player in baseball.
But the Dodgers have been going for it.
Yeah, but there's culture there. They're a contender every year. All right.
Yes.
All right.
Because they're actually willing to spend more money than anybody in baseball, even more than the Yankees now.
Yeah. The Yankees, that's true. Right. And the Yankees just had one of the worst seasons they've had in how many years?
Yeah, it's the worst record they've had in 30 years. I mean, 82-80. They
culture.
finished just above 500.
Yeah, yeah. There's going to be a nice little jump start to the beginning of the season, If they don't fix
Absolutely.
that culture, going nowhere.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's great to do all our mock lineups right now to see where Verdugo fits and Dominguez when he comes back and hopefully he's healthy, and possibly if we get Yamamoto, all of these possible rotation options and all this other stuff. The Yankees also made a small trade with the Dodgers today for a left-handed reliever, and also made a small trade. Well, not a small trade. Also made a trade with Boston actually, in which we kind of robbed the Red Sox, in my opinion. I like Alex Verdugo. We got Alex Verdugo. I don't know if you saw that. I like Alex Verdugo as a player. Another former Dodger. Another left-handed bat. Another guy who can play the outfield pretty well. Giving us depth and options. And also, again, another guy who kind of makes Giancarlo Stanton expendable. If you can't trade Stanton, he might be Jacoby Ellsbury. I don't know if you remember, the Yankees signed Jacoby Ellsbury to that monster contract after he left the Red Sox in free agency. And then he played he had one good year as a Yankee, and then he just was injured all the time. And finally, the Yankees cut him. I honestly think the Yankees might just have to eat the Stanton contract and just cut him, because at this point, his roster spot is worth more than he is. Yeah. He went from being a 5-tool player in Miami to a 1-tool player here in New York. He can hit for power. That's it. Yeah. That's it. Sorry. And now that you have Soto, you have this young monster in Jason Dominguez coming up that you think is going to be the center fielder of the future. You have Verdugo. You still have Judge. You have Grisham as a defensive guy, right? You have Peraza and you have Volpe, which, by the way, also makes, to my opinion, makes Gleyber Torres expendable. Please get rid of him too. Throw him in with Stanton if you got to. You've got Austin Wells, a young catcher behind the old wily veteran who's going to learn defense behind Jose Trevino. Hopefully Anthony Rizzo gets his head on straight, literally after that concussion last year. You've got DJ LeMahieu going back to a more natural position at third base. You're clearing out all the crap that you've acquired over the last couple of years. The garbage that has been Josh Donaldson at third, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa in center field, Higashioka behind the plate. He got shipped to San Diego too. Have fun in the sun, kid. You're clearing it up. You're fixing things. You got to finish fixing things. You're in the position. You have it right here in front of you. If you're worth a salt, Cashman, you want to get out from in front of the bus? You got to finish this off. Get Yamamoto. Get rid of Stanton. Get rid of Torres.
Ray Costello's giving you two choices, Cashman. Either get on the bus or we're running you over with the bus.
Yes.
Either way, the bus is coming.
The bus is coming. The bus is coming. But yeah, so hot stove heating up. And Yankee fans are hoping. Yamamoto met with the Mets over the weekend. He's meeting with the Yankees today. And the hope is that he will make a decision by end of the week. And hopefully the Yankees get Yamamoto, which would be awesome because he's also, that would be something of him versus Ohtani in the World Series. They were teammates. They were good friends. Anyway, I'm getting very much ahead of myself.
You are getting insanely ahead of yourself. And this is how it begins, the fever. Look at you. Look at you. It's December. What are you doing, Ray? What are you doing yourself?
No, I know. We make fun of the Mets every year because the Mets are like, we're winning the World Series because they won the offseason. And right now, the Yankees and Dodgers are your winners of the offseason for sure. But that's why they play the game. A long season ahead. Again, a lot of this is all with the asterisk that everybody stays healthy, that everyone performs to the back of their baseball card, right? Like, there's a lot of ifs, what ifs and buts going on here. And again, to get to your point, Lee, as long as Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman are in charge of this team, I do not have 100% faith that this team will go to reach.
I think that's your biggest problem right there.
Yeah.
I think it's not players. I think it's the two names you just said.
Yes. Two people I hate very, very much.
The bus. The Carcillo bus is coming. Okay. Can we talk about the Lakers now?
Yes, really quickly. The NBA. Congratulations. Speaking of LA, the Los Angeles Lakers are your first ever, your inaugural in-season NBA tournament champions. They destroyed the Pacers in the final. By the way, congrats to the Pacers, right? The Pacers wanted it, right? For some of these guys, right? LeBron doesn't care about a $500,000 bonus. Anthony Davis doesn't care about a $500,000 bonus. They're playing for the title. It looks like a lot of those guys in the Pacers, who are some of the more league minimum guys, they wanted that bonus. They went through Milwaukee. They went through who went through the Knicks and whatnot. And the Pacers came up a little bit short, as the Lakers showed that when they want to play, that is a scary, scary team, because that looked like playoff Lakers, not
it was playoff Lakers.
Yeah,
that's the whole point.
Yeah,
that was the playoff Lakers, right?
Yeah,
and that's why I like the midseason tournament. Now, it's funny. I don't know if someone told LeBron or LeBron's just wise enough to know when he won. He's like, we got to celebrate. We got to make it look like we really care about this, and because we do. Like the picture after they won was really kind of anticlimactic. So that's going to be the interesting thing to see if they continue with this moving on, which I'm sure they will. Yeah. But hey, look, it was something.
You got to give it a few years to see how it works.
Yeah, it's look, it's not going to be the NBA title at the end of the season, but I enjoyed that, Ray. I thought it was a cool tournament. I think it makes something meaningful happen in December, right? I mean, of course it's the Lakers, right? Of course.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, hey, listen, they were playing to win. You saw it. They were playing to win. All right. And more competitive games, the better. And now they've got other leagues talking about doing something like that. So I'm interested to see where this goes in terms of being forward thinking.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. It was I was glad the Knicks made the tournament. Would have preferred a better showing. Then what all this tournament also did, though? It showed, because it was playoff basketball, it showed several teams what their strengths and weaknesses were when they really mattered, right? Like, it showed that the Bucks weren't as deep as we thought. It showed, this was said by Stephen A. This was also said by the TNT crew. I think Kenny the Jet was actually the first one to say it. The Knicks never have the best player on the court. Jalen Brunson, as great as he is, and how much I think he should be a Knick the rest of his career. I think he is a terrific player. I think that, honestly, the Knicks are one superstar still away. Because Jalen Brunson, when you're playing the Bucks, you're playing the Pacers, you're playing the Lakers, you're playing insert team here that's a playoff team, Jalen Brunson is only the second best player. The Heat, right, with Butler, he's the second best player on the court. Right. And the Knicks never have the best player on the court. And until they do, they will never be more than a first or second round playoff team. Yeah, that happened here in this tournament. This showed it really obviously.
That Dolan does not spend on them like he should.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. But look, it was a good tournament. It was a good idea. Now it's like halfway through the season, eyes are on the playoffs, right?
Absolutely.
And it'll be interesting to see if a team ever wins the treble, which is, the midseason tournament, the regular season championship, and the playoff championship. It's an immortality in your sport. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But I'm glad they did it. I'm not against it. I thought the courts were fun. I know you didn't like them. I liked them. We'll see where they go from here.
Yes, it is going to be interesting to see where they go here from it. I'm looking forward to it. Just out of curiosity, also, by the Lakers, they're 3 back of the best record in the NBA. So right now they would not be in line for the treble if the season ended today. But of course it's still very, very early in the season.
Right.
We're only a quarter of the way through the NBA season. So at this point, but just a quick note there. But yeah, no, it's not like I know that TNT loves talking about the playoffs already, even though we're only a quarter of the way through the season. But let's not worry about playoff basketball.
Well, maybe that's another thing. Maybe this should be extended a bit. Maybe it shouldn't be this early in the season. Maybe it should be halfway through the season. I'm going to say again, I would be happy if they would replace the All-Star break with this.
I think that's really the best idea, because then you're at games like 50, 55 or whatnot. And I think that's you'll also have a better idea of where teams are. Some guys might want rest, might complain against it.
I could also make the argument that whoever's in that game probably would have been at the All-Star game anyway.
Yeah.
So not all of them, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. No, I think that's not a bad idea. And we'll see what the NBA does with it.
Do you get to go to the White House if you win the midseason tournament?
No, I don't think so.
No? Where do you get to go? Like to see the Premier of Canada or?
No.
Is it
no? I don't think so.
All right.
No. I mean, hey, you got a $500,000 bonus. You can probably go wherever you want if you really wanted to, but
it's fair. So,
but yeah, so that does it for sports for this week on Geeks Who Like Sports.
Do you know what that means?
Transition time?
Transition time. Hit it, Rockapella.
I don't know what's in there. I don't want you to get hurt. So step back.
Hey,
K, for real, man, open the damn locker.
K, he's back! The light giver! All hail K! All hail K! Oh, K, can you see by the dawn's early
You are the man who would be king of the train locker.
Oh, good and gentle townfolk of locker C18. Did I leave anything here?
Yes.
And we're back. Hello, welcome. I don't know what they just played. We don't know what they put in here. Hopefully, it was something that made sense. We hope you.
I have the Carmen Sandiego theme stuck in my head now. Thank you.
Do bop 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 boo
Yeah.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I should do the bait. Carmen Sandiego. That's it. All right. Thank you for going down to the 90s with us. All those of you that are old enough to remember.
Yes. That's still one of my favorite shows. I wish they would bring that back. I wish they would do something with. I wonder who owns the game rights to Carmen Sandiego.
You could do a lot of things with Carmen Sandiego right now if you really wanted to. They did try and bring it back for a bit. It just didn't play out the right way. And I think they kind of did it in a different way. I would just bring back the game show. It's geography based, right? And none of those kids could tell you anything outside the United States. If they could even tell you in the United States, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
But you know, I wish they would bring it back to its full might.
No, I absolutely agree. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Let's see. HarperCollins, the publisher owns that rights. That makes sense.
Yeah, board game company.
Yeah. I'm trying to see who owns the rights to the game now.
Maybe we can, Ray. Maybe we'll bring it back, and then we'll get a new theme song for Geeks, or we'll do the Geeks theme song with rockapella. Do da dee da ba, dun 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 dun. Do da dee da ba.
All right. This is a rabbit hole for another time. Producer Caitlin, if you get a chance, do me a favor.
Geek. Oh, such a geek.
Producer Caitlin, let me know if you can find the video game. Who owns
Ray?
Who
owns the rights for
Carmen Sandiego? There we go. There we go. Oh goodness.
Ray, you got to go to an award show this week.
Yes, I did. I did get to go to an award show this week. I went to the Game Awards this past weekend or Thursday. The Game Awards was, I'm not gonna lie, it was a mixed bag. It was really interesting. It was a really interesting night.
A lot of press coming out of this.
Yes, and more negative than positive.
Much more negative. Yeah.
From the very beginning, it felt like this show had a dark cloud over it. There were protesters outside with signs ranging from the gaming industry needs to unionize now, which I 100% agree with and have been talking about for many years, to greatest year ever for games, worst year ever for game developers, which for those who don't know, there have been over almost 10,000 jobs lost in the games industry this year. Some of that we were expecting because of the readjustment post-pandemic, right? But there was also a lot more beyond that. A lot of studios closed. I know folks who were hired and then fired 5 months later when the company folded. Just a lot of really mismanagement of money and funds. People spending money they didn't have because they were expecting, and we've talked about this before, Japan loves to do that, but a lot of European companies did that a lot this year as well, and they paid the ultimate price for it. And it just felt like there was a dark cloud over the industry, and this was a chance to try to celebrate the good along with the bad and to acknowledge the tough times. And instead we got a 2.5 hour commercial with about a half hour worth of awards acceptance speeches.
That's upsetting.
Yeah, I think you showed me this statistic. I think it was 82% of the show was basically ads and trailers, and 18% was awards and acceptance speeches. And look, and I've said it before, the Game Awards, what Jeff Keighley is doing is he's not celebrating games. He's lining his own pocket.
We've been saying this for years. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody told me, and again, I don't have specific numbers. I don't have records. I don't have bank accounts, but somebody in the game industry whose company paid for an ad or a trailer in the Game Awards said it cost them 5 times as much this year over what it did last year. Now, sometimes Keighley, in order to make it seem more prestigious, sometimes he'll let that slide, or sometimes he'll cut the price for certain publishers, right? That's why you'll see sometimes a really big publisher on the show when they don't need to be because they're not paying that price. But if that is accurate, the one person quoted me as saying that 30 seconds on the Game Awards cost $500,000. We're talking like starting to get to Super Bowl numbers here in terms of prices and ridiculousness. And it's not going to like a network and tons of people. It's going to Keeley and his company, which I tell you right now is not the same size as like a CBS, an ABC, or an NBC when they get the Super Bowl. And again, now this is just what somebody has told me. This is just what I acquired in the lobby of the JW Marriott where everybody congregates after the Game Awards, right? So take it with a grain of salt. But if there's any accuracy to that person's claims, that's saying something, right? That's saying a lot. And then again, and I understand there was a lot of complaints in years past. The show was too long. The show was too long. The show was too long. So Jeff, to his credit, wanted to get the show to 3 hours and no more. Well, he got it to 3 hours, but at the price of basically kind of rushing a lot of these acceptance speeches and also doing what I've complained about before because he did it even more this year where I call it the Shotgun Awards, where basically he's like, okay, we're going to do best RPG, best sports game, best action game, and best multiplayer, Baldur's Gate, best sports game, MLB, best. And these were the folks who won. I'm just doing examples off the top of my head. I do not remember who the exact winners were, which again also comes down to the fact that maybe if somebody from those teams had gone up and given an acceptance speech, it might resonate more with me, and I might be able to remember off the top of my head who won those awards. So when you have this huge movement about game developers feeling underappreciated and losing their jobs left and right, studios collapsing, and then you have an awards show that's supposed to celebrate those games, but you have Jeff Keighley and his crew forcing them to cut their speeches short, forcing them off stage, playing them off, literally with prompters saying, please wrap up now. That image went viral, by the way. I didn't take it, but it was somebody else did there at the show. You can find that very easily. I think it was Dave Oshry, who's another game developer. It's a really bad look for a show that already doesn't feel like it cares about the game industry. Okay? I've always said it, the Game Awards, if anything, it's like the Golden Globes, or trying to be the Golden Globes of gaming, where it lets the press vote. It also shows that how far I think we've come from press. I asked somebody, Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year. Now, for me, that's not even a top 10 game, for me personally. But I asked somebody, I'm like, why did you vote for Baldur's Gate 3? And again, I'm not going to name names, but they were like, well, it was really popular. I'm like, okay, so why was it Game of the Year? They're like, well, it was very popular. And I'm like, that's not a reason why that's the best game.
No.
There's a lot of things that are popular out in the world. You shouldn't vote for it because it's popular.
We don't even vote for president that way.
No. Well, some people do, I'm sure. But like, you know what I'm saying?
Some people want it to be that way, yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm like, what about the gameplay? What about the story? What about this? Like, and that's where my problems all lie, right? I thought I played the first 10 hours of the game, and I understand people. It's one of those games that people are like, you got to wait, get to hour 20, which right off the bat bothers me.
Yeah, that's weird.
But Starfield was one of those games, and I'll say this, at least Starfield had enough of a hook that I wanted to keep playing after hour 10, and I did get to the point where it got good, and then it got bad again by the end. Baldur's Gate, I got to that hour 10 point. I'm like, there's not even enough here to keep me going to want to get to that good point. So I don't understand why people voted for it, but that's a personal problem, right? I didn't like the story. I didn't like the characters. And I think the gameplay is actually a step back for folks who are saying, oh, it was a retro feel. Like, retro doesn't always mean good. For platformers, sure. For RPGs, not so much. By the way, producer Caitlin, Carmen Sandiego looks like it's owned by Houghton Mifflin Harcourt. No, an educational brand. Not sure who they are. Not familiar with them. But thank you, producer Caitlin. There's a problem in there's every facet of the Game Awards, from the voting to the trailers to Keighley himself. There's a problem. It felt tone deaf. Oh, and by the way, but unless you're one of Jeff's best friends like Hideo Kojima got 20 minutes of the show to talk about his new game that we didn't even see really any gameplay of. It's all still conceptual. You didn't even have like a real trailer for us or gameplay. You gave him 20 minutes. And yet you forced all the Alan Wake developers off the stage. You forced the Baldur's Gate people off the stage, even though they did win. You're forcing all these people off the stage. I hope this show dies. I'm going to be serious because the games industry doesn't need it. Okay? I'm going to be 100% sincere here. The games industry doesn't need it. First off, most of these companies that put trailers into the Games Awards, we already saw it. We saw it with Rocks. We saw it with Grand Theft Auto. We saw it with Dragon Age earlier in the week. Most games, go be part of a Nintendo Direct. Go be part of a Sony State of Play. And you'll get the same amount of attention as you get in the Game Awards. And you don't have to spend as much money. And the games, you want arbitrary awards. We already had the DICE Awards, which is voted on by the developers, by the way. Right? People who actually know, like game directors actually voting on game direction. Not people in the press who couldn't even spell the word director correctly. Right? And I'm sorry, again, as somebody who used to be press, I look at the state of the press in games now, and it's a shell of what it used to be. And I get it. I sound probably like the old man shaking his fist at the cloud, but it's the truth. Okay? It's the truth. I'm sorry. I hope the Game Award, and I know the Game Awards isn't going to go away because it does make so much ridiculous freaking money. But if I was a game company, and again, this goes back to the fact that all these people lost all their jobs. And if it is true that it cost $500,000 for 30 seconds of ads, that's a half dozen people's jobs. But hey, you got your trailer out there in the Game Awards that nobody's talking about because there was 3 dozen other ones. I couldn't even tell. The only game I remember from the Game Awards is that Marvel announced the Blade game with Bethesda. That's it. I have to go to a list to tell you everything else that was shown there because it all just becomes white noise. Stop wasting your money. Stop wasting our time. And remember who makes the goddamn games. Start doing right by people. This is ridiculous. The show was tone deaf. The show had no idea what it was doing. And everybody, every level of the game industry, from the press who vote to the people, and they did call it out after the fact, to Keighley himself, to the game companies, the CEOs, the publishers, the devs, get your shit together. It's the holidays, and there are people now out in the street because the studio closed. But hey, you spent $500,000 on your goddamn stupid trailer. And then Keighley gives 20 minutes to freaking Kojima. Go back to a closet in Konami. They should have never let you out. Which isn't true. He was treated really, really bad there. It was actually a very bad situation. But still, I'm very mad.
Ray, I feel like I should punish myself and go to my room right now. That's how mad you sound.
The show has such potential. It can do so much good because it does reach such a huge audience. And I feel like it just feels like it just doesn't do what it could do every year. I want it to be better. Be better, video games.
Well, listen, this is what I'll say to you. You're following plenty of business models that have failed this way before. I see it in hockey all the time. The biggest hockey shows are crumbling now because the big companies have figured out, I don't need to spend this amount of money to come to you. I can do this myself. Yep. Eventually, people are going to realize this, right? The solution is also this. I'm not saying this to you directly. Stop watching, stop going. Stop making it relevant, and it won't be relevant. Or, as will probably happen in America, a rival show needs to come out that's better than this and does exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
The games business is so bloated financially.
Yeah.
You have the oil barons running the shop.
Yeah.
Normally I'm not unionization to me is like, it depends on the situation. This is a situation for it, right?
Absolutely.
Because there's too much money at the top and too few people are making decisions for the entirety of that organization or the entirety of the business. All right. But yeah, we've been talking about this award show, but it's not an award show. You shouldn't call it that for years. All right. It's an advertisement.
Yes.
Right. And the thing is, like, this is what should happen. These companies should just say, no, we're not going. You'll do better publicity and better marketing by saying we're not attending because we don't agree with the morals and the way this show's run than you will if you go. But this is what I said. It's the ex-girlfriend thing. You keep going back. You keep going back. You keep going back.
And here's the thing, and a lot of folks who went in. I was around. I actually didn't go inside the show this year because I refused to continue to help. I watched because I needed to kind of know what's going on.
That's taking a stand. Now, you're in the industry. You got to know.
Right.
Don't
And that's
support
the thing.
it.
Right. Right. So I watched the show. Actually, a lot of us have started, a lot more people this year than in years past have done this. A lot of folks went to the JW early and we watched it there together, which by the way, only counts as one stream, right? Like almost like a Super Bowl party. Because also, and these are some people, by the way, who flew in from across the country. They spent the money on the hotel, on the flight and all that.
Not to go. That's funny.
And they were like, I'm not going to give Jeff $200 for a ticket. And they didn't. And look, he's still sold out, which by the way, $200 a ticket. And I get that's the nice seats. And there was the cheap seats for $80. That probably the cost of the theater alone.
Right.
And look, I don't know the numbers, right? He's got a big freaking orchestra. He's got a staff. He's got a crew. Obviously, TV, anytime a streaming or TV production isn't cheap. But I don't see how, again, if this is true, this is anecdotal stuff that I acquired as I continue to move around, like a mist settling on the industry. I moved through the crowd at the JW and picking up these stories. If he charged $100,000 last year, now he's charging $500,000 this year for the same airtime.
Gonna be more next year.
I was going to say, not only that, but I don't see the price of everything that he did costing that much more from last year to this year. But again, look, I don't know the books. I don't have the access to that kind of stuff. I don't know how accurate those anecdotal things are. But I'll also say this: if this is how people are talking, Jeff should probably come out and say something because it's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. So, but hey, we're getting a Blade game next year.
Way to go!
Awesome.
Gonna Blade movie at some point too.
Yeah, at some point. They might hold the Blade game so this way they can get the Blade movie together.
Right.
But we'll see. I mean, look, there was some fun things from the show, right? Sega announced a new Jet Set Radio, new Crazy Taxi, a new Streets of Rage, right? Like Sega was smart. Sega was like, we're gonna announce 5 games in one trailer.
Yeah, that's all you need. Again, it's silly money, silly decision making, silly people.
Yep. No, it's a great way to put it. But I love video games. So
you can love it and disagree with the way things are being run.
That is true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like award shows, the fact that, award shows are still relevant is amazing to me when most people are just going to go look at a list anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, Jeff Keighley's in front of the bus this week. There we go.
Big bus.
It's a big bus.
Doom.
The big bus. Do better. A couple of quick other fun gaming notes. We talked last week about Starfield and the alternate universe where you meet yourself. Well, I'm not sure if another super fan started looking for that universe and instead found a universe where all the main characters are children. I feel like I'm living in the silver age of comic books. I think this is hysterical. That's a fun note. We talked about this last week. Even though Starfield did not win any awards and wasn't even nominated, it's not a top 10 game of the year. There are some really interesting things about it. And the fact that there's these fun little pocket universes, if you can find them, I think that is great. And it just shows the potential. I mean, hey, look, if they make a sequel, I'm going to play it. Unlike if they made a Baldur's Gate 4, I'm definitely going to pass on that one. Also,
you really got to get to hour 176 before it takes shape.
Just sorry.
Man, I got 10 hours for your game, maybe. I'm like, how long do you think Star Wars was? That's about the amount of time I have, and that was even pushing it. That was probably what, a 10-hour campaign.
Yeah,
yeah, man. What are you doing, guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. Is like, look, I play games for a living. I'm an hour 25 of Sea of Stars, but I'm really enjoying Sea of Stars. Right? Like, honestly, it might crack my top 5. By the way, stay tuned. In the next couple of weeks, I'll do my official Game of the Years.
Welcome to the Bus Awards, starring Ray Carcillo and his faithful assistant and sidekick, Lee.
Yeah, actually, might do those next week because the week after that is Christmas, and the
We
week
can do
after
it next
that is
week.
New Year's.
Let's do it. If you're listening to the show, next week's show is going to be a big one. Ray is going to be doing his top 10, top 5 video games for the year. You want to know the real top 10, the real top 5? Join the Geeks Who Like Sports because we care.
Yes.
Also, ad time for those top 5. If you want an advertisement between the top 5, it's $400,000.
You know, if we just got 10 ads, we could retire.
Tune in next week to find out who the lucky 10 people are.
Anyway, but yeah, one last gaming story. This released hot on the heels of the Game Awards. Lego Fortnite. Fortnite has a Lego version now.
Yes, they have responded to Minecraft finally after many, many years of Minecraft being Legos in the internet space. They finally caught up and teamed up with the other gigantic stars of the internet, Fortnite. Pretty brilliant move. My kid's been playing it since it came out. He actually said this, not me. I said, what's it like? Is it like Fortnite? He's like, that's kind of like Minecraft. And I was like, oh, wow. The fact he said that unprompted tells you that they have succeeded with their mission.
Yes. No, and it's a brilliant partnership, like you said. I mean, Lego's been experimenting in the gaming space. Obviously, you have your Lego games based on movies and whatnot, but they had the Hot Wheels expansion in Forza, right? Like,
there's no universe,
that's not like, that's not Hot Wheels, but they had a Lego. They did have a Lego expansion in Forza, right? You're seeing these toy brands trying to expand into the gaming realm. The Lego expansion was actually a lot of fun. The cars weren't very good, I felt, but actually like breaking through like brick walls and stuff was with the car was fun. But yeah, the fact that they're in Fortnite now, again, it's an iconic brand inside of the biggest game probably still in the world. It makes perfect sense. Fortnite just added Peter Griffin. It does stuff with Marvel all the time. Like, if you want to make sure you get your brand in front of as many eyeballs as possible, particularly the gaming audience that overlaps with like Lego and Marvel and Family Guy and all that, Fortnite's the way to go.
Look, Fortnite, for lack of a better comparison, is the Oasis from Ready Player One. I mean, it's a very, very early version of that system. For those of you who read the greatest geek book of all time. But and it continues to grow. Now they've brought Lego into that universe. I think it's very fair, Ray, to say that there are young kids, 3, 4, 5 years old. That's going to be how they play with Legos in the future, not just the actual tactile side of it. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But fun little story. Good for Lego for figuring that out. And you know what, Ray, I'm going to say this as a business person. Isn't it amazing when two companies with different ideas can come together to make something fun as one instead of just stealing crap from each other? Isn't that amazing? How it wins for everybody.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, isn't it?
Funny
right?
how that works.
How a rising tide lifts all ships,
Amazing.
right?
Like, don't look down at the skyscrapers beneath you. Look up and build higher. Or like you said, raise the tide and the ships will go with it. The rising tide lifts all the ships. That's good business information, you schmucks.
Yes.
Who am I talking to? Tune into Hockey Wraparound for more information.
Yeah, I mean, again, look, the gaming CEOs, they're not the only jackass CEOs out there. That's what we'll say.
Yes, no, there's a lot of dumbass business people out there, but there's not a lot of dumbass hosts, just us.
No. Yeah, I mean, wait a minute, did you just call us dumbasses?
Yeah, you totally missed it. It was great for me for a few seconds. I'm like, wow, he's agreeing with me on this.
I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, wait a minute.
Oh,
We're not.
Producer Caitlin laughing in her office as soon as I said that. You go, that's right. Like,
I guess it was.
I'm gonna go lay in front of the bus. I'll be back.
It was no, but I guess I kind of made it come true because by agreeing to it, I'm a dumbass. So
I mean, what's wrong with being a dumbass?
I don't know. I'm smarter than Brian Cashman.
See?
So yeah, I'm not in front. I'm the one driving the bus. I'm not in front of the bus.
Oh, we thank you all for listening to Dumbasses Who Like Sports, Geeks, and Video Games and business culture. We'll be back next week with another dumb episode.
Yes.
No, thank you all for listening. That listen to the show. We have a faithful audience who really does tune in every single week and listens, and you value what we say, and we value what you say. Thank you so much for allowing us to bring some anger to your day.
Yeah, I bring all the anger.
All
Producer
of the
Caitlin
anger.
just put all the bus emojis in our chat here, which is fantastic. So
it's the Rock. It's the Rock making the big diesel sound from that one stuff. That's what I see when I hear you saying the bus.
Oh goodness. But yeah, that does it for this
Mashup.
week's
You got
episode.
Mashup's coming Saturday. It's gonna be a
Yes.
good one. I'm not gonna tease it now, but it might have something to do with baby universes or award shows. You never know. You got to tune in to find out.
That is, see, how can you resist a tease like that? Gotta tune in to find out. We appreciate, though, everybody who listened to the whole show. You stuck through here to the end. It always means a lot to us. We really appreciate it.
Yes,
but
is also
until
Ray's
next
weekly
week,
therapy session.
yes. Yeah, that's real. Yes, that is exactly what it is.
Yes.
So yeah, stay tuned. Next week we'll talk more football, maybe some more hot stove. I will have my games of the year list
That's gonna be
finalized.
fun. Games of the year next week with Ray. That's gonna be. I'm actually looking forward to that, and I'm on the show. That's amazing.
Yes. So really appreciate everybody who tunes in. As always, for Lee, I am Ray. This has been season 2, episode 11 of Geeks Who Like Sports. Good night, everybody.